Welcome to Old Iron Machine Works. This video is showing the modification of these wheel centers. They're off of a Kubota. We will be putting Kubota wheels and tires on a new Ford tractor. The wheels and tires will be taller than the Ford ones, so we will also have to raise the cab a little bit, and it'll be set up for spraying tomatoes in a row crop application. The existing centers, the holes that pilot off of the hub are too large, which I will have to weld sleeves in them. The bolt holes needed to be drilled out, but the bolt pattern itself was correct. The spacers that will be welded into the wheel centers are basically about 75 thousandths thick, so there's not a whole lot of meat to them. Here I'm just machining a little guide pilot that I can slide onto the drill bit, just for centering up the existing holes when I'm drilling out the lug holes. Yeah, I used a piece of garlite to make this little pilot. It's kind of like the same type of material you see used in a lot of electrical panels. I chose to bore it as deep as I could with a single point because I wanted it to fit nice and snug, and I didn't want to take a chance of drilling it and then having any kind of play. So I ended up getting the kind of fit I wanted. Here I just shoved the drill bit into the pilot and chucked the pilot up, just checking for trueness, which you can see it's running plenty true enough for what it's going to be used for. Here I'm machining a chunk of bronze, basically for the bushing to tap onto and just kind of keep the bushing nice and true during the welding process. Here I'm using some sections of some old pipe to make the bushings out of. If you watch very many of my videos, you'll see I'll use just about any old scrap iron I can find. Here I'm just kind of cooling it down a little bit before I make my final cut. You can kind of see the steam from the heat. It does kind of grow during, when you hog it off. Just getting it cooled down a bit. Here I get some excess chattering when I'm trying to part these thin sleeves off, so I just use my zip wheel. Just put a mark on it and zip them off. The center of the wheels have already pretty precision hole, so I want to keep the centers exact same location. That's why the bushings are machined where they fit real nice into the wheel. Here I'm just grinding a bevel, so when I start welding it up and grind it flat, there's plenty of weld still left holding the bushing in. On this little grinder, I just got a little flap disc on there, just pretty much polishing the paint off on the inside, not removing much other than paint. Here's my good old SP170T Lincoln. I've had this thing probably, I don't know, it seems like about 20 years. And I normally run the 024 wire in it. Here you can see I leave the shims a little bit thicker than the material I'm welding to, just so I can burn into it without getting a lot of overflow. And then when you grind it all flat, it gives you a nice edge. And the key is just to just keep going back and forth, little small welds, and then here just knocking out the spacer. That spacer just kind of keeps everything nice and true during the welding process. Now I wanted to point out that bronze slug is exactly 5 thousandths larger diameter than the spindle on the tractor. I wanted the rim to be able to slide on once they clean the paint off the hub, but not have excess play. Here I got a little bit of some undercuts from welding, but once again it is just a rim, so I'm not too worried about it. Here I just took the 4-inch grinder and just kind of knocked off most of the material, got it close to the basic depth, and then from there, then I come with the bigger grinder and a nice flat wheel, and that just gives me a really nice finish. Yes, I'm aware that I'm running no guard, but during this application, a guard just isn't going to cut it. Two common ways of locking the wheel hub to the tractor is having a nice tight foot on the center hole and then just washers and lug bolts, just tighten it back down. Or you have, each hole has a taper, and then you have a tapered lug nut or a tapered lug bolt. They chose to go with this style. Radial drill press. I bought it several months ago. It was at my favorite scrap yard, which somebody did not take it as scrap, but he buys out machine shops going out of business, and he picked it up, and I got a heck of a deal on it. It's a 1981 Jet. It's actually in nice shape. I threw power to it to do this job, and this will be the very first time I actually used it, and perfect size for my small shop. I'm just playing with all the controls, kind of getting familiar with the drill press. Everything seems to work really nice on it. I guess I should mention that this is one of the very rare import tools that I would have in the shop. Most of the stuff I have is old vintage machinery, USA made, but I really like this drill press, so I made an exception. Here's where the guide comes in handy. It's got a nice snug fit where it stays on there. And from there, I machine the end of it to fit the existing hole. And I just use it to line up the existing hole, lock the arm, and drill my new holes. I'm drilling 23 32nd size holes. They use a 18 millimeter bolt in them. This is the next morning where I'm delivering them to the dealership, and I just put a little bit of a chamfer on them. This is a local dealership in Rio Vista. It started in 1947. I've been friends of the family forever and worked for them from 1981 to 2001 as a field service mechanic. Here I got it on, and all the bolts fit real nice. I was hoping I didn't have to open up the lug holes any larger than I needed to, and they all fit really nice. Now I just need to make some spacers to raise the back of the cab up 1 inch. For my subscribers that wonder why I called my channel The Old Iron Machine Works, I think this pretty much says it all right here. Here I'm running out of oxygen. I really wasn't aware I was getting that low. So I didn't get quite the cut I wanted, but I still kind of lucked out and got through it, with it looking pretty good. This track torch belonged to my father, and when he passed, I inherited it from him, and I'm pretty happy with, I can do way better job than I can ever do freehand, but my dad was very impressive when he was using it. Here's a little transfer punch gauge I made years ago. It's got a 5/8 male on one end and 5/8 female on the other. And then the center transfer punch is just a little injection nozzle tip, I believe out of possibly Perkins injectors. So many years ago, can't remember for sure. But it's very easy to line it up in a circle. The circles are just pencil markings for my template, and you just kind of center it up inside the hole and go ahead and put your transfer punch and mark in. Here I went ahead and set the spacers in, make sure they're going to fit okay. They needed to order some longer bolts, exactly 1 inch thick, 1 inch longer bolts. But anyway, it'll just raise the back of the cab 1 inch. It would be great if from my subscribers if I could get some kind of feedback on what types of videos you guys like or what I should be doing different. This is a whole learning game for me. Here's my very first sticker from the Arcave shop. His name is Dean and he's from San Jose. And I also got a second sticker. You guys might recognize this one. This was a very pleasant surprise Sunday. Tom lives probably 45-minute drive from my place. And I was out working in the driveway trying to make room for a couple new pieces of equipment on Sunday. And him and his wife happened to be coming by and stopped. And it was quite a pleasure to be able to meet him. And, you know, anybody that knows Tom, I could have spent an entire day with him, you know, talking tools. Anyway, it was a really nice surprise. Anyway, I appreciate anybody that made it through the video, and I appreciate the new subscribers. If you like any of this content, please hit the subscribe button. And once again, I appreciate anybody taking the time to watch the videos, and, you know, be great if you left some comments.